Disclaimer: this video is for informational and educational purposes only, based on publicly available sources and expert opinions. It does not provide medical or health advice. The views expressed are for discussion and analysis and do not constitute endorsements of any claims.
Why today I thought it was very important that we speak to Craig Kelly, a member of the Australian Parliament. Craig, am I overstating any of this? Are we really looking at what the tyrannical grip of a nation can lead to?
Many of our state parliaments have been closed down, and we have these tyrannical medical bureaucrats that have effectively taken control and are locking people in their homes. The schools are closed.
The former New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian resigned on October 1 subject to corruption charges and, according to other political parties, was being manipulated by pharmaceutical companies to push inoculations.
She's being directed by a lobbyist in Sydney who's being paid by AstraZeneca and by Pfizer tens of millions of dollars to get these policies through to make sure the vaccine is pushed. That's why. You asked the question, I gave you the answer, and that's my personal knowledge.
We have to acknowledge when evidence changes. So my message to everyone is disregard anything we said about 2 doses. It's 3 doses or more.
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order.
If you make the judgment to not get vaccinated, you won't wait out the virus, because the virus will be here for a long time. And your only protection against it is being vaccinated. Then we're going to get into booster issue, so it won't be your first and second dose, it'll be have you had your third.
And that's just the way it is. We've got to accept that this is the new world order.
When it comes to vaccines in our bodies, we must always have access to informed consent and freedom of choice. In August 2020, Prime Minister Scott Morrison said, "It's not going to be compulsory to have the vaccine."
Remembering, we do not have a mandatory vaccination policy in this country. We do not have that. We are not proposing to have that. That is not changing.
On Monday, 28th of June 2021, he went back on his word and stated that it will be mandatory for all aged care workers to have the vaccine.
We have agreed to mandate vaccination to have at least 1 dose by mid-September 2021 of all residential aged care workforce.
Queensland police officers have been issued a blunt ultimatum. Take the jab within 2 weeks or face suspension without pay. The move has outraged some serving and former officers. A new police union is even being contemplated to fight the vaccine mandate.
Tonight I'm speaking to this Parliament's therapeutic response to COVID-19 and its horrific medical harm and loss of life in that response. COVID vaccine injuries are hidden behind anonymous government data, while COVID virus supposed harm is splashed across prime time. The very least we can do for the victims of COVID vaccines is to say their names. Victims like Caitlin Georgia Gotts, a healthy and vibrant 23-year-old studying at Griffith University to become a vet while working as a horse strapper. Caitlin dropped dead at work of a heart attack following his second Pfizer shot. Her death was recorded as asthma, a condition Caitlin has never had. Reginald Lynn Shearer, a formerly healthy, fit and active man who quickly went downhill and passed away from effects that began after receiving the AstraZeneca vaccine. Daniel Perkins, a 36-year-old healthy father from Albion Park, who died of a heart attack in his sleep following his second Pfizer injection. Douglas James Roberts died after taking AstraZeneca. His family are concerned that his GP didn't warn him of the side effects of the vaccine. In other words, no informed consent was obtained.
We actually have Australian troops have been ordered out on our borders. Imagine American troops that wouldn't allow people from Florida to enter into Georgia unless they produced some document that they had been injected with one of these so-called COVID vaccines. People are distressed. People are prevented from going to work. They're locked down in their houses. Protests are outlawed. We saw on the streets of Melbourne only a few days ago a protest against the government. And they had, the first time I've ever seen in my nation, they had police dressed up in full riot gear with actually firing rubber bullets and projectiles into the crowd, into an unarmed crowd. This is something that you would expect to see in despotic regimes in South America. We see it here in the streets of Australia today.